Welcome to another Helios conversation. Vlad Haramsov is in the incubator program at the moment, or having just gone through the complete course, and we'll be speaking about his project, CETF. Maybe just start off with a very high level basic explanation of what the project is, Vlad.
So CETF is, at this point, it's a protocol plus a web app. And in essence, it enables to put many tokens in one token. So it enables to create ETFs or indices.
All right, great. So ETF is exchange traded fund, kind of like a basket or an index of other assets that can be that the investor or trader can buy in one. How far have you got with setting up? Is it in the pre-development stage, or is it functional? What's the current status?
Yes, so last year we launched the first fund. It's called EOSITF. We launched it on EOS mainnet, and it consists of 13 different mainnet tokens. And during the peak, it had total value locked more than 35,000 USD and somewhere around 150 investors. So it's already a functional product on mainnet.
And it hasn't been hacked to date. How do you approach security with something like that? Do you have to, at what stage does it need to be audited, or who's on the team that is being able to create a smart contract? Is obviously managing people's money.
Yeah, actually there was one attack, but it didn't work. So some user tried to create his own token. So one of the tokens that we have in fund was TPT, the token pocket. So he just made his own contract, created his own token, tried sending it to us, but it didn't work. In terms of security in general, like I've been following all the hacks that have been happening on the mainnet. Yeah, after those hacks, I've always checked the code, whether we had those checks in place so that those hacks wouldn't work in our case. But still, the code at this point is not audited. And yeah, that's one of the top priorities.
Yeah. So how like we see DAO platforms come and go, and we see like Balancer, and there's a lot of projects that are doing that are managing other people's money in the DeFi space. And at what stage, like when I get to hear about them, sometimes it's super early stage, like maybe like your project, you've last year it was developed, you've done some proof of concept, you've got some amount of investment, and then suddenly at some point these things blow up with hundreds of millions of dollars in the system. I don't know what that duration is. What do you see as the major milestones for building out and becoming a publicly well-known platform?
So you mean that in terms of when should the audit done?
The audit, or just everything else in general? Are there other features that have to be developed? How complete is the system to be able to attract and take on funds? Are you controlling the ETFs that are built on the system, or does it allow other people to build their own version of tradable index tokens? And how do you see the adoption happening over time?
Okay, yeah, right now the code is at the stage where we have to manually set up each ETF. So there's one on EOS mainnet right now. we are planning to deploy the next one on VAX to get that initial traction. But the goal for the next phase is to scale this solution so that anyone can just easily log into the platform and set up through the UI, set up his own fund. That's the goal.
So does that mean that the person can decide what percentage allocation to give to each of the tokens in the I don't know if to call it an index or ETF, or what's the correct name to call it?
Just a fund. I mean, the fund manager will be able to create whatever strategy he wants. So he can just manually, based on his own technical analysis or his fundamental analysis, just set the percentages, or he can build some kind of program that will automatically manage the fund. So it will be completely up to the fund managers how they want to run the funds.
Got it. And can you're setting up one for WAX at the moment. I assume that over time the funds don't have to just be tokens from one EOSIO chain, but you can mix them together, right? So different, you can have some EOS and you can have a few WAX tokens. You can have some Telos, like Telos and whatever other EOSIO chains. Are you looking to do more than just EOSIO, or is it focused purely on that community?
Depends. I mean, if EOSIO chains, first of all, yeah, there are EOSIO chains. If they will have a proper IBC solution, then you can have a fund on mainnet and include all the tokens from other EOSIO chains. If there are bridges with Ethereum, EVM, with other chains, then you can have the code on mainnet, but include the tokens from all the other chains. Mm-hmm. So it depends, yeah, if there will be solutions for wrap tokens, then another assets that could be in the fund are the synthetic tokens. On EOS, there was a project Synthetics. And yeah, there were some recent news that they are launching again on EOS, and that would be great. In that case, you can create ETF that consists of whatever asset you want to replicate from the traditional finance world.
Okay, what does CETF stand for? What's the C?
It's crypto.
Crypto ETF. Okay, is the project name. Are you looking to launch your own token, or is it provide, like, what is your business model? Are you you'll take fees based on the trading that happens on the platform?
Yeah. So there will be a management fee on each fund, and part of the fees will go to the fund managers, and part of the fees will go to all CETF token holders. So our token is also called CETF. And on EOS mainnet, the CETF token so far has been distributed to everyone who participated in creation of the EOS CETF. So everybody who sent in those 13 tokens, proportionally, they were sent back the CETF token.
Very good. And is the token tradable anywhere on any exchanges yet?
Right now, no.
Right. So you're in early stage, or so the token is minted, it's distributed, and it's not yet trading on exchanges, which makes sense for the time being. You allow people to be able to create their own funds that they will then manage on behalf of their investors. And and then you take the platform takes a percentage of the management fee that the fund manager is charging their clients, and then that a portion of that fee for the platform is distributed to CETF token holders. And there's no there's not two levels of token, correct? There's just one token. If I buy CETF on Binance eventually when it's listed, then I'm going to receive, is it a rebase token? How does that actually work? How are the fees distributed to the token holders?
So you have to stake the CTF token, and right now it's built that every week you are able to claim the fees that were generated during the week, and you claim them. You receive the EOSITF token.
Got it. Okay, out of a supply that a supply of tokens that you still got in the treasury.
It's actually it issues new tokens.
Oh, okay.
It issues new, yeah. So it kind of dilutes those current EOSITF holders.
Got you. So you're minting new tokens. All right, very clever. I looked into a little bit the Wonderland DAO platform and these different things, and I'm still not mathematical or developer, and it's hard. It's still hard to get my head around those things. But this is how DeFi economies work. Are there other platforms that exist at the moment that are anything like how similar are other platforms to what you're approaching, what you're working to build?
Yeah, there are quite a few already similar platforms. The difference is that they are on different chains. So Ethereum has their own asset management protocol, Avalanche has their own, Solana has their own, and we are just focusing on the EOSIO chains.
Although with the IBC, other chain tokens could be brought into CETF funds.
Yeah,
but it's still built on EOSIO. Do you have a couple of examples of other projects, like successful platforms that are doing anything similar to what you're doing?
Yeah, the most successful one is on Ethereum. It's CET protocol. They've been operational for around 3 years, I think, and their assets under management right now are 250 million USD. Yeah.
Got you. And why have you chosen to do this as your project? Like, tell us about your background as a developer or DeFi or finance. Why was this the product for you to build?
It all started during the Liquid Apps hackathon that happened. I think it was already 2 years ago. And one of the topics of the hackathon was DeFi, and yeah, we just brainstormed with Leonard, who is my friend and second developer who's working on that. And during the week, we just came up with the initial version of the product. And maybe the reason why we were able to come up with it is because we both studied quite deeply finance, and it just, yeah.
That was academic, correct?
Yeah,
like
yes,
your degrees. Yes. What's your degree?
It's bachelor's in economics from Stockholm School of Economics.
Cool. And so you understand, like, not only are you a developer, but you understand you've studied at degree level economics, and so you're able to understand this kind of a system, how to What about in terms of marketing? Do you think that it's people like me who are crypto-ish savvy, who want to create my own fund because I think I'm a good trader, or do you think professional fund managers would want to create funds on your platform, or what do you have to be able to provide as the project in order to attract professional hedge fund managers with very large funds that they're managing?
Yeah, professional fund managers are one of the target groups. But for instance, on Ethereum, the CETF protocol, one of the most popular funds that they have is created by the YouTube channel Bankless, and it's called Bed Index. So for instance, on EOS, everything EOS could create their own ETF, and they would do all the marketing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you have a solid enough platform in an ecosystem that is that has a big community, then the fund creators themselves will have their own network. So you as a project should not have to be expert at attracting retail investors or even the investors at the end of the day. You need to be able to provide a solid platform for fund managers to feel that they can build on CETF, and then they will do the kind of the leveraged front end marketing to bring in their investor funds. Very cool. What else? What else is going on? What do you see as the timeline or the roadmap for maybe the next 6 months or the next couple of years? How do you see what does CETF success depend on, or what is your focus for the foreseeable future?
Well, it all depends on how much can we focus on it, and that will depend whether somehow the platform itself will bring fees that we could use to pay the bills. I mean, we will still keep working on it, but in parallel, we would have to work on stuff that immediately can provide some kind of financials. So to a large extent, it will depend on that.
And what would be those? What are the feature developments that are in your backlog as priority?
Well, first thing is to finish few features for the EOSITF, the fund that is on mainnet. It is still the 13 tokens. In order to rebalance the fund right now, there's a lot of manual work that has to be done, but we have already deployed testing fund on mainnet, where you can now just vote. So you can, right now we have like 20 different accounts have been whitelisted, who all tried to just set the percentages, and after setting the percentages, they can just click rebalance, and automatically the smart contract interacts with DeFi box, the decentralized exchange, and swaps all the tokens based on the percentages that were input. So that's one big feature that we will now deploy to the EOS ETF, plus the profit distribution. Right now, the fees are not distributed to CTF holders, but again, this feature is also already done in testing right now, and very soon, I think next month, April, those features will come.
So success for CETF being built on EOSIO depends quite a lot on the success and growth of the EOSIO community, right?
Yep.
Maybe there's an opportunity that I can see of kind of partnering with projects to help explain the tokens that they got, like Wax. All of the tokens that are there is collaborating with those projects that become part of one of the funds that are investable on the CETF platform, and to do some kind of co-marketing or co-promotion, that your platform is promoting the tokens that are inside the funds, to get that visibility, because that is key for what Helios is looking to do, is bringing in external capital into the EOSIO community. To do that, we need the success stories, we need the commercially viable platforms. So it's like mini partnerships, natural partnerships that I think should be happening across the ecosystem. So I can see that your platform having some way to reference or kind of promote, but outline, similar to Binance Research. Binance Research has very extensive research pages for different crypto coins that explains the fundamentals and the thing. If you can attract, I know again it's a tremendous amount of work being it's just you and Leonard, maybe collaborating with tokens that want to be part of one of the funds. They have teams of people that can help to produce that content, and that can go into your platform, save you time and writing the content. So yeah, it's like I'm looking at it, I'm doing these interviews, I'm looking at ways that we as a community can collaborate more closely, to support the talents and the interests that each project is focusing on. So there's a few ideas in there. We can talk about that later as well, of collaborating with some of the projects, of listing their tokens, which helps you and it helps them. So you've got win-wins there. What else?
It would be mutually beneficial.
What have I not asked you? What have I, maybe something else, another part of the project, the business, your experience, what have I not asked so far?
I think there's one, it's quite a crucial aspect when we compare the ETFs in traditional finance and the ETFs that we are building and other protocols are building. So the difference is that with traditional ETFs, you outsource your investment management, but at the same time, you give away your assets. You are never in custody of your assets. With our solution, even though somebody else is managing your crypto, the ETF's token is always in your own wallet. So that's a crucial aspect.
Yeah, let's drill down into that a little bit more. So because that is a big differentiator, helps to give a lot of security to the investors. So you're saying to create, for the fund manager to create a basket, to create a fund, what is the general what are they doing? Are they having to add those tokens into the platform, or is there a swap or a bridge that they swap a various bunch of tokens for a new token that they're creating, which is their specific fund token? And then you're saying that investors can buy that token and custody it themselves. And then how is the management of the tokens inside that token being done? Just give us take time and just explain how the mechanism of how it works.
Yeah, I will explain how it works right now with the EOS CETF. So you send in order to Yeah, so there's 13 tokens that the ETF consists of. In order to create ETF, you have to buy those 13 tokens and send them to our account. And then the smart contracts checks whether you sent the correct tokens, whether you sent them in correct proportions. And if you did, the contract issues you back the ETF token. So you are always in your wallet, you always hold the ETF token. And you have two choices. Either you can, anytime you want, redeem it. So you send the ETF token back to our contract, and our contract send you back the 13 tokens. Or you can go to a decentralized exchange, where there is a, right now it's on DeFi box, the EOS and the EOS ETF pair, and you can just sell this EOS ETF token there in case you want to exit your position, so to say.
Okay, so the investor, so that's creating the fund. If I'm creating a fund, I send the tokens that I want to be in the fund to the platform, and that generates a tradable new token of the fund for me. And then the investors will buy that new token, and they will custody it for themselves. If I, as the fund creator, then change the balance of the assets inside the fund, how does that? Can I just sell out everything and get all of my the tokens that I used, and that will just destroy the price of the value of the fund token? What security does the investor have that someone can't just do a rug pull and empty the fund?
So the platform has pre-approved tokens. So with the testing fund that we have right now on EOS mainnet, with the new features, there are 22 different tokens that can be included in the fund. So if fund manager, the worst thing that fund manager can do, he can just put, for instance, everything into one token. But again, it might not be such a bad idea if he's convinced that this token will perform. So yeah, he cannot just, he can only allocate between the pre-approved tokens, so to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got you. Fantastic. So that's clear. There's technical aspects there. Looking forward to seeing the progress. Where can people go? Do you have a website up or social media? Where can people go to actually check out closer what you're doing?
Yeah, it's EOSITF.io. And from there you can find links to Telegram, Twitter, Medium. Yeah.
EOSITF.io. Okay. Great, Vlad. Good talking to you again. Send us updates as you're making progress, and we'll be getting back to the different alumni in the incubator program with next steps or different sessions and things that we can go through. And and then I think we have an idea there is how do we create collaboration between some of the projects. Let me know what happens with the wax development. And maybe there's projects that we can work with and support some kind of content creation, so that again we're getting the win-win situation. That's it. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to seeing you again on one of the sessions. And that's it. Anything else to go through?
No, thank you, Aurel.
All right. Thanks a lot, Vlad. Good day.